Hello, I am Amy Ryan Courser, congressional candidate for Oregon's beautiful 5th District, and I'm currently running against Kurt Schrader, who is the incumbent for our district. And I have been doing my Sunday videos, and I shared with you that I would be doing more videos this week and really tackling the issues. And I think there's so many issues to tackle. So this is not going to be a long video, but it is very relevant. And so I want you to stay with me and hear the entire video so that you know what I'm referring to. And then of course, I'll be available for comments, questions, and emails or phone calls after if you have any questions. But let me state this, and I have some notes and some paperwork, and so I'll be wearing my glasses. But what I want you to know is that, you know, as I'm speaking with people in our district, it's so important that we recognize all of the issues that we have. I've been doing our homework. We have a lot of issues, and for many years I have been frustrated with our current leadership on all levels, actually, and now is no different. I have believed for several years that Kurt Schrader has abandoned Oregon. It's why I chose to run, and I don't think now is any different. And so what I want you to know is that I believe our leaders should be present. I believe that our leaders, especially in times of chaos and unrest, need to be involved. They need to restore our law and order. That's the job of our civil leadership. And I believe that they need to focus on what is important. Excuse me. Now's not the time for silence, and not the time for showing up for your job. So we are, as you know, I don't have to tell you, but I will summarize. We're in the middle of civil unrest. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a failed economic crisis with our unemployment system here in Oregon, and we have absolute economic devastation across our state, and as you can see, in our nation. And so I don't take this lightly. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but I also, as you know, I'm a woman who I don't want to perpetuate fear either. But I think we need to take a hard look at the reality of our local state issues, and so for that reason, here we are. And I have some documentation because I do have. I think it's important that you know where I'm getting my information and my sources. So here's what I want to share with you tonight, and I'm just going to go straight to it. Our 116th Congress, which is where we currently are now in 2020, has passed a new law, and this new law is a process of what they call proxy voting. I don't know if you've heard of it, but let me explain it to you if you have not, because it's extremely critical to our state. This is a process that allows a senator or a representative in Congress to give away their voting power to another senator or state representative. So what that means to you is our representative, for me, Kurt Schrader, our representative has given away his voting right. And I'm going to read you this letter. Okay, I got it off the internet. It's all public knowledge. It's from the Congress of the United States, Kurt Schrader. And it's short. So it's to Cheryl Johnson, Clerk of the U.S. House of Representatives. Dear Ms. Johnson, pursuant to Section 2A1 of House Resolution 965, I write to notify you of my designation of a proxy to cast my vote. I am unable to physically attend proceedings in the House chamber due to the ongoing public health emergency, and I hereby grant the authority to cast my vote proxy to the Honorable Tom O'Halloran of Arizona, who has agreed to serve as my proxy. Let me break this down for you, my friends. Apparently, Kurt giving up his rights to vote has given up also your voice as his constituents. I believe, this actually makes me quite upset, and I would be upset no matter who it was. But I believe this is a complete failure to comply with our constitutional requirements. This will create a precedent for ever changing the voting in the House process and threatening, I think, the legitimacy of voting, and also I believe it's an insecure way to vote. I also have done my homework, and Representative O'Halloran from Arizona is now your voice for Oregon. I don't even know if he's ever been to Oregon, but but that aside, I also did my homework and due diligence to find out that Mr. O'Halloran from Arizona and Kurt Schrader from Oregon's 5th District do not align their votes 60% of the time. So he has chosen someone to represent him because he is not showing up for work so that they can be the voice of Oregon, which is what we elected Mr. Schrader to do. So I'm upset with this. You should be upset with this. And let me give you a little more detail, and then I will let you draw your own conclusions. But again, this is a representative that has disagreed and not aligned his vote with Mr. Schrader 60% of the time. Now, normally that's not something I would think is a big deal, but if you're going to choose someone to be a proxy vote for you and represent you, even with your direction or guidance, I don't understand why you would choose someone that you're not aligned with. So I guess really the bottom line for me is that as we in Oregon struggle with our economy and we struggle with everything that's going on, and boy, I have a lot of friends struggling. I've shared that with you. We don't have to get into the long and short of that. But what I will tell you is that apparently Kurt sees himself as non-essential. So our frontline workers can go to work, our nurses and our doctors and our truck drivers and our local Oregon industries, we can show up for work, but apparently Congress can't. And apparently, as you've read in that letter signed by Mr. Kurt Schrader, he is not essential to do his job. So let me tell you how this is going to play out, ladies and gentlemen. I am essential. I have an essential campaign, and I am an essentially fight for you. I'm starting to get mad. Sorry. I am, I'm fired up about this. Let me stick to my points. So, because I will go off on a tangent because I'm frustrated, and you should be frustrated too, ladies and gentlemen. This is against our Constitution. So he's given up his right, his voice, and he's given up your voice. He is your voice in Congress for all of our federal issues, and they all trickle down to our state issues. So this is very, very, very important. And let me tell you, as I was doing my homework and my due diligence, let me also tell you that there have been about 125 work days in January, or since January 1st in the year 2020 for people going to work every day, right? I'm not counting weekends. I'm talking, 9 to 5, kind of, Monday through Friday, being, on an average. 125 working days this year. Congress and Kurt Schrader has shown up less than 1/3 of those. And in April, he didn't show up to work at all. He didn't show up to his job as your state representative in Congress, not one day. And as you've read, he doesn't deem himself essential to show up for his job. Yet here we are in the middle of all the pandemonium that I just mentioned. So I think it's relevant that we need leadership that's going to do that. So 0 days in April, about 1/3 when I do the math of all of the voting. He's missed multiple votes. I think it's almost 4% of his votes. But to be honest, that's a lot because we haven't had that many votes this year due to the pandemic and our a crisis. And then, of course, remember there was that little thing called the impeachment. So, of course, they weren't working through that either. So it's frustrating. It's unacceptable. And you should be mad because guess what? As taxpayers, as us struggling and people in their homes and in their jobs and trying to survive, and small businesses are trying to survive, let me tell you what, these congressmen men and women are getting paid, and we the taxpayers are paying it, and they're not showing up for work. And not only did they not show up for work, they're giving away their power and their vote on your behalf. Now you should be mad because this is exactly what I've been talking about for years, that we have been abandoned in Oregon. So you can see I'm frustrated. Look, but I've used all my big girl words. I've not lost my temper yet. So I can't stress to you enough how important this is. And so let me share with you. Sorry, let me just get myself together here because I don't want to say something I'll regret later. It's on video live. That would be me, right? On video live. Oregon has suffered from failed leadership on all levels for far too long. Almost all levels. I can't think of very many leaders that I truly respect that have brought strength to our state and to our economy and to the people who are struggling. And I apologize. I know there's a whole bunch of comments, and I'm feel free to reach out to me after, because people don't like a long time on video. I'm gonna wrap it up here shortly, and then I'm available for comments and conversation. But I will tell you that we must have leadership in Oregon that you have confidence in. We have to have leadership that is going to restore our state, restore our sanity, and restore economic development and growth. That's really number one, and that's changed. We've had a lot of changes as we've seen politically in our state, even this year, 2020. I almost think I want to do over, but I can't wait to make it right. So I realize that this is tough, and I think it's going to be challenging. It's not an easy fight to take on an incumbent congressman who is wealthy with deep pockets and deep ties to deep associations that he's been there for years. This person is a career politician. I'm not a career politician, and as you know, I'm not raising millions of dollars. But I will tell you, I'm here to fight the good fight, and I'm working very hard to be your voice and represent you and to communicate with you. And so I think moving forward, as you know, I believe that Oregon deserves strong leadership. I believe that they deserve a voice that's going to be a voice for everyone, and I will be that voice. I will be that voice for everyone, no matter party, no matter partisan, no matter faith, no matter what, because this position is important, because you have to represent everyone. And so with that, I will tell you, I'm very transparent. I'm very upfront. As you know, we've talked about a lot over my campaign so far, but transparency is important to me, but I will be a congresswoman who represents you, and you will never wonder where I stand. You will never wonder what's going on with issues and what is the communication on that. You'll know where I stand, right, wrong, or indifferent. You may agree or disagree, and I'm learning to hear all of that and to really absorb it and take the opportunity to learn, because that representative for you, it's critical that they are your voice, no matter agree or disagree. So I will be that representative for you. I will never, ever give up my voice in Congress as our current congressman has done. I will not do that to you. I will always be there for you. And I will have the courage to ask the tough questions. I'll have the courage to do the job. And I'm going to have the courage to fight for you as your representative, because you are worth fighting for. Oregon, our beautiful state, is worth fighting for, right? So, there's so many things, and that list is long. I think about all of the great people I meet and all of the industries we have and the beautiful, deep, fabulous resources Oregon has. But let me tell you, top of mind right now for me, our economy, our jobs, our kids, our grandkids. Oregon deserves better. And number one, ladies and gentlemen, number one, we have to have public safety. We have to. I'm going to talk more about that. I believe in the next day or two, I'm wanting to approach and address our public safety issues. I think there's a lot to talk about there. Separate video, because I want to respect your time. But again, those are my priorities, and I think you have heard me talk a lot about my value system and who I am in representing you. I will close with this. I have an essential campaign. I am an essential candidate, and I will be your congresswoman who shows up for you and to represent the people. And obviously, it's time for new leadership. It's time for better leadership. And I'm mad, and you should be mad too, because this is completely proven failed leadership. I've said it before. We've been abandoned. Our agriculture has been abandoned. Our jobs, our economy, and now's the time to make it right. And I am here for you. I'm available if you have any questions. I apologize. I'm not very good at engaging on some of the voting on the brain, some of the videos that we do. But I'm always available, and I answer my own phone, and I answer my email. Not always quickly. If I'm driving, I'm not answering my phone right. But know that I am available, and I care about our state. I care about the state of our state. What are we doing? How are we going to fix this? And you know what? I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to be a leader who hides. I may have to stand and say I don't have the answers, but you know what? I have a lot of great ideas, a lot of solutions, and I have surrounded myself with amazing people who love our state and want to fight with me. And so I could keep going, and I won't. I won't. You can see that I'm passionate. You can see that I care. And that's what we need. It's time for people who are compassionate, caring, committed, and willing to fight for you. And obviously that's me. So if you're not fired up yet, give me a call. We'll talk some more, and I'll give you even more details. It's time to get fired up, and it's time to vote out new leadership. It's vote out current leadership and get in new leadership. And I'll tell you what, that's where we're going to get our term limits. People, we have to show up to vote. No matter what your party is, you have to show up to vote. And so with that, I will say thank you for your time. Please join my journey if you haven't, and let's take this fight all the way to Congress, because we're going to get there together, and I'm going to get there representing you for you. So God bless you and all of our everyone in our nation. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Good night.